Have you ever opened someone's social media profile, scrolled through it, and realized they haven't posted anything in months or even years? Maybe that person is your friend. Maybe it's your sibling. Or maybe it's you. In a world where everyone seems to be sharing every meal, every vacation, every achievement, and even the smallest moments of their day, choosing not to post almost feels strange. People start asking questions. Are they okay? Did they disappear? Are they just boring? Somehow, staying quiet online has become more surprising than sharing everything. But what if the person who never posts isn't missing out at all? What if they're seeing something the rest of us don't? We live in a time where sharing has become automatic. We wake up and see what everyone else is doing before we've even thought about what we want to do ourselves. Birthdays become photo shoots. Vacations become content. A cup of coffee isn't just coffee anymore, it's a picture waiting to happen. Even a simple walk outside can turn into a story with music and filters. None of these things are necessarily bad. Social media lets us stay connected, celebrate each other, and discover amazing ideas. But somewhere along the way, many people stopped asking themselves a simple question: am I enjoying this moment, or am I preparing to post it? Now imagine someone who doesn't play that game. They still go out, they still laugh with friends, they still travel, learn, celebrate, and grow. The difference is that nobody online knows about it. Their life isn't invisible, it just isn't being broadcast. And because of that, people often assume the worst. They think nothing exciting is happening. They mistake silence for emptiness. But silence and emptiness are not the same thing. Think about it for a second. How many times have you judged someone's life based only on what they posted? If they stopped uploading pictures, maybe you assumed they were lonely or unhappy. If they weren't constantly updating everyone, maybe you thought they weren't doing anything interesting. But social media only shows a tiny window into someone's life. Sometimes that window is real, sometimes it's carefully chosen, sometimes it's completely staged. Either way, it's never the whole story. The person who never posts understands something many people forget. Not every memory becomes more valuable because strangers see it. Some memories actually become more meaningful when they belong only to the people who experience them. A dinner with family doesn't become more special because it got 500 likes. A beautiful sunset doesn't become more beautiful because someone commented with a heart emoji. The experience was already enough. If you're enjoying this story so far, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps more than you might think, and it encourages us to keep creating relatable animations like this every week. There's another interesting thing that happens when you stop worrying about posting. You stop looking at your own life through someone else's eyes. Instead of wondering whether a picture is good enough, you start paying attention to the actual moment. Instead of repeating an activity just to get the perfect angle, you simply enjoy being there. Instead of checking whether people noticed your latest post, your attention stays with the people sitting right in front of you. Of course, not posting doesn't automatically make someone happier. Some people enjoy creating content, sharing memories, or expressing themselves online, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when posting becomes less about sharing and more about proving. Proving you're successful, proving you're busy, proving you're having fun, proving you're living your best life. The strange part is that the people trying hardest to prove they're happy aren't always the happiest. The person who never posts often escapes that invisible competition. They don't feel pressure to show every achievement the second it happens. They don't compare every vacation with someone else's vacation. They don't spend hours wondering why one picture got fewer likes than the last one. Their happiness isn't waiting for notifications to confirm it exists. Ironically, people become curious about them. What have they been doing? Where have they been? Why don't they post? Their privacy creates mystery. In a world where everyone knows everything about everyone, being a little unknown has become rare. And sometimes rare is interesting. There's also something peaceful about keeping parts of your life just for yourself. Imagine celebrating good news without feeling the need to announce it immediately. Imagine accomplishing a personal goal without opening an app first. Imagine laughing so hard with your friends that nobody even thinks about taking out a phone. Those moments often become the ones we remember most because they were fully lived instead of carefully documented. Many people say they're afraid of missing out if they aren't constantly online. But there's another kind of fear that almost nobody talks about: the fear of missing the real moment because you're too busy capturing it. While you're checking if the lighting is perfect, the conversation moves on. While you're editing a picture, the sunset changes. While you're refreshing notifications, life keeps happening without you. The person who never posts isn't trying to disappear from the world. They're simply choosing where their attention goes. Instead of collecting likes, they're collecting experiences. Instead of building an online highlight reel, they're building real memories. And years later, those memories won't feel less important just because they weren't uploaded. Here's something worth thinking about. Before social media existed, people still laughed, traveled, celebrated birthdays, fell in love, reached their goals, and made unforgettable memories. None of those moments needed an audience to matter. They mattered because they happened. Somewhere along the way, many of us started believing that experiences become more real once they're posted. But maybe we've had it backwards all along. Imagine two friends going on the exact same vacation. One spends most of the trip looking for the perfect photo, checking comments, replying to messages, and planning the next post. The other takes a few pictures for themselves, puts the phone away, and enjoys every conversation, every view, and every unexpected moment. Both visited the same place. But did they have the same experience? Maybe the biggest lesson from the person who never posts isn't that everyone should quit social media, it's that we should decide when social media serves us instead of letting it decide how we live. There's nothing wrong with sharing your life. Just don't forget to live it first. The next time you come across someone whose profile hasn't changed in months, don't assume they're doing nothing. They might be living a life too full to interrupt every few hours for an update. They might be protecting their peace, or maybe they've realized something simple that many people overlook. Not every beautiful chapter needs to be published for the world to appreciate it. Before we end, here's one last question to leave you with. If social media disappeared tomorrow and nobody could see what you were doing, would you still live your life the same way? It's an uncomfortable question, but the answer says a lot about what truly makes us happy. If you enjoyed this video and it made you think differently, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who rarely posts, or someone who posts everything. You never know who might relate to this more than they expect. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.